Opening question is really your 90-second intro. Please introduce yourself, share why you're running, and what you hope to accomplish in your first year of elected.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Reiman, and I'm a fifth-generation Washingtonian on my dad's side and a third-generation Washingtonian on my mom's side. Both sets of grandparents ended up in Quincy, and that's where they met. Actually, there's a museum named after my family in Quincy. Maybe you've driven by it. It's called the Reiman Simmons Museum. It's right there on the main drag as you're driving towards Wenatchee. That's also the house where my grandfather was born. So I have deep roots here in central Washington. I've lived in Washington my whole life, except when military service, that was either my service or my dad's service took me out of the state, or when college took me out of the state. Grew up in Wenatchee. Went to college at the University of Michigan and then graduated from the University of Washington with a degree in English. Thought I wanted to be a teacher. When that kind of fell through, I thought, what am I going to do with this English degree? So I thought law school. So I've been an attorney now for 26 years after graduating from Gonzaga. I'm running because this is a unique opportunity. As Jody said, this position's been occupied for the last 32 years by the same person. So now is a unique opportunity, and it's time for me to throw my name in the hat. I've got the experience to do the job. I've done 22 years of military service with the Coast Guard and Navy JAG. Having unique military leadership experience is going to be critical in this job. One of the big things that nobody's talking about that's going to be happening now and over the course of the next 10 years is we're going to be in competition with other offices for attorneys, so that's going to be a challenge for us.
Prosecutors have significant discretion in deciding whether and how to charge cases. What principles guide those decisions?
Thank you. So when I've been a prosecutor and when I've been responsible for charging cases, I review the report and I look to see if there's an allegation that's supported by the facts. If the facts support that a crime's been committed, then generally I'll charge it. So that jumps a step though. One of the steps that I consider is this a case that can be better resolved through diverting the case to a pre-filing diversion? When I first got to my position when I was the city prosecutor for Ellensburg, I met with Greg and with Jody, and we talked about, we initiated a pre-filing diversion that had gone dormant. We brought it back, and for the city, we were referring early and first-time offenders into the diversion program. That's one of the things that I want to make more robust as I become, if you elect me to the position. But otherwise, once we jump over those steps of, is this a case that can be properly diverted, or if there's no facts, then we don't charge it.
Public understanding of the justice system is important to public confidence. If elected, what would be your highest priority for educating the public about the work of the prosecuting attorney's office, and what specific strategies would you use to achieve that goal?
So while I've been campaigning, knocking on doors, meeting people at the markets, talking to young people, I've learned that there are a lot of questions about what we do. So the common question is, hey, so what's your opinion about the justice system or about prosecuting? And so I know that people crave the information. And I know that from my time when I was the city prosecutor for the city of Ellensburg, that no matter how many efforts that you put forward, the public just necessarily won't take it. So when the city does coffee with council, they have Ellensburg 101, they have City University, and then yet people still come and say, hey, I never knew about that. So it's a two-way street. If the people want to know the information, it's available, and I want to make it available. I want to go to these things and maybe have a booth at the market and come up to the Roslyn market and just make ourselves generally available to answer the questions.
Third prepared question. How will you foster a positive workplace culture within the prosecutor's office?
Thanks. So during my opening, I started to talk about the competition that we're going to have with other prosecutors' offices and public defender's office. So that's because the state is putting a cap on the number of cases that defense attorneys can take. What that means for everybody else is that there's going to be a need for more attorneys. Where are those attorneys going to come from? They're going to come from other offices and out of law school. So we're going to be competing with those people, with those other agencies. Yakima had a $20,000 bonus. Mason County was offering bonuses. The best way that we maintain high morale and good feelings in the office is keep the people that we have. Make sure they feel appreciated and rewarded. And I'm going to meet with them so that they know that I have a genuine interest and care about them personally and professionally. That's one of the things I learned in the military too, is build up your people. Make them try to meet and address their personal and professional goals so that you can elevate them, and as you elevate them, everybody else is elevated too.
Given that this position is one of the highest paid in the county, what are the most effective day-to-day job duties that you would do as the elected prosecutor?
It's a smallish office, meaning that we need to squeeze all we can from everybody there. So one of the most effective things that I'll do is maintain a caseload. Everybody's going to have to maintain a caseload. The position can't be just purely administrative. So that's going to be effective. I'm going to share the load with everybody else and work to sub in for other people. We're going to be cross-trained so that people can go on vacations and they don't feel like their caseload is just piling up while they're gone, or they feel like they have to pull teeth from somebody to get them to sub in for them. Everybody needs to feel that they're all rowing in the same direction. So that's going to be one of the most effective things I do, is to meet with each of the new attorneys, or each of the staff, and to see where I can help promote them and meet their goals so they can make this place, as Jody said, it's a place where they're going to be spending most of their time, so they can be happy doing it.
It's been mentioned that this election represents a pretty big transition for the prosecuting attorney's office here in Kittitas County. If elected, you'd be taking over the office from a long-time leader represented by the current retiring prosecutor. What would you keep in place that exists currently, and what would you change?
Thank you. So I don't work in the office, so I'm a public defender right now. I've been a prosecutor for most of my 26 years, but right now I'm a public defender, which gives me a unique perspective on how to address cases. But also what that gives me, not working in this office, is a fresh slate. I said a fresh slate, yeah. So I'll go in and I'm going to meet with everybody, and I'm going to find out from them what works and what doesn't work. And we're going to add on the things that work, and the things that don't work, we're going to talk about those and see if there's a reason why they're not working, and see if there's a way to make it better. I love metrics. Whenever I've gone into a new place, especially in the military, and I've gone into different offices that were failing, and I've been able to resurrect them and make them successful, I've done it off of metrics. So what metrics do is they help me identify where the bottlenecks are, and where to put the resources at, how to fix those, and then we can talk about what the issues are and making those bottlenecks. So I'm going to work with IT, I'm going to work with the folks who know the issues so we can develop the metrics, that we can track the right information so we can address it.
Prosecutors sometimes face pressure from law enforcement, elected officials, the general public, etc. It's also really important for you to build productive working relationships with other elected officials, law enforcement agencies. You're an elected official, so having a good relationship with the public might be in your best interest as well. How would you build those relationships, maintain those relationships, while still maintaining your independence when making the really difficult decisions?
Yeah, so this deals with that temperament. It's the temperament of how to work with other people and how to form those relationships. We've all worked in the community in Ellensburg for at least the last 5 years or longer. And so we have relationships with law enforcement, with other elected officials, and so we're each able to dive into that pot and keep it working. When I was the city prosecutor, I was always available. I was the only city prosecutor, and so whenever law enforcement needed to reach me, they had my cell phone. I'd go to change out, turnover during shifts to make sure to address questions. I'd go to important functions when somebody got promoted, or if there was a morale event, when we did like a hot cocoa for all the different departments and divisions. So it's showing up, it's making friendships, it's building out those friendships, it's being present for those people that are working with you.
Question is, county law and justice systems, which the prosecuting attorney is a major part of, along with courts, law enforcement, supervision, others, right, must make decisions all the time about how to best utilize limited resources. That can, unfortunately, include leaking into decisions about what crimes to prosecute, who to prosecute, who not to prosecute and let go. How will you balance the complexity and the competing interests of justice, accountability, and limited resources?
All right, so this kind of comes back to one of the earlier questions that we talked about, which is prosecutorial discretion and how to charge cases. This just kind of sprinkles in some issues of either accountability and whether or not there's any factors that come in, who to prosecute, what to prosecute. So the issue of who, that should never be an issue that you take into consideration, whether or not the person is has a specific role in the community. Maybe they're a teacher, maybe they're law enforcement, maybe they're a federal servant. So we treat everybody the same. And we consider whether or not the person committed the crime, not who they are. So it's an issue of just making sure that we don't ignore our commitment to the public, our commitment to the people who are victimized by the crime, our commitment to our professional responsibilities when we make this decision to charge the cases.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman. If you think back to your civics classes in middle school, there are three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. Each of those is represented by independently elected officials, some in hybrid ways in county government, but only one represents the legislative branch, and that's the county commissioners. Prosecuting attorney under law has a special relationship with that office. What do you see? How would you handle your relationship as the elected prosecutor with the Board of County Commissioners?
When I was in the military, I would have the opportunity to advise captains of ships, commanders of bases, and sometimes they're not used to hearing the answer no. And one of the things that they taught us in Naval Justice School was find a way to yes. And it's using the resources that you have, the guidelines, the instruction, the law, to see if you can get to yes. And that's always been in the back of my mind, find a way to yes. Obviously, there's sometimes where you just can't, and so maybe there's a workaround, and those workarounds come into play by developing and building and capitalizing on the relationships that are already in place. I know that there's, as Jody said and Patricia's talked about, there's great attorneys in the office already, and the thing that I've been talking about during this forum is that it's critical to keep the people that are already in the office. They're very qualified, they're highly trained. They want to be there. Let's keep them there. Let's keep them doing their jobs in the great positions that they're doing.
Statistics, I think, show and prove out, and tell me if I'm wrong, repeat offenders are a large portion of the work of the prosecuting attorney's office, unfortunately. How do you address, number one, repeat offenders while ensuring fair treatment under the law, so avoid bias in those instances? And then secondly, what approaches do you think the prosecuting attorney's office can use, or have you used in the past, to reduce recidivism or repeat offense among young people?
So there are already two really great programs that we have. One is drug court, that's for felony matters related to drug issues, and then we also have in district court, both in upper district here in Cle Elum, and also in lower district, we have what's called the BHC, it stands for Behavioral Health Court. That's a program that I was one of the leading members to create that program. We created that about 4 years ago. Our first day was Valentine's Day. It's just kind of a weird day to have our first quarter for Behavioral Health Court. But these are two great programs. Behavioral Health Court is a program that addresses people that are high risk to reoffend and in high need of services. So these are the repeat offenders. So it's a great way to get them into services. Same thing with drug court. So how we address repeat offenders is we look at what's in our toolbox, and we look at where they are on a spectrum, and we see which tool is the best way to intervene to get them to change their behavior.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman. This one comes directly from the audience. Each of you, candidates, in your various answers, have stated that you have various leadership experiences. Please take the next 60 seconds to expand upon that experience and give us some specifics.
So 22 years of active and reserve military service, I believe I received the best leadership experience that money can buy. It's a unique experience going through officer indoctrination school, going through naval justice school, working with fellow shipmates in the Navy, Coast Guardsmen in the Coast Guard. I've led different teams. I've been the senior reserve officer down in the port of LA Long Beach, leading a team of 40 plus reservists. I've been a part of a team with the Navy unit down in San Diego, where the opportunity to see commodores and captains and commanders lead their team, bring them in, go around the room and see them draw information out and heap on praise and guidance and direction. It's been a remarkable experience, one that I've soaked in, and I hope to be able to take that and use that in the office.
All right, we're now going to transition to our closing statements portion for our prosecutor candidates. Mr. Reiman, your closing statement.
Thank you. So I don't have the most signs out there. I had somebody actually come up to me, Deanna, hey, I don't know who you are. So I know that I've got an uphill battle. I don't have the most signs. I haven't raised the most money. And I don't have the endorsement of the outgoing prosecutor. But what I do have is the most experience. I've been an attorney for 26 years, and I've been a military officer for 22 years. I've got experience on both the civil side and the criminal side. On the civil side, I've been an assistant city attorney for the city of Yakima and the city of Ellensburg. I've also advised on civil matters in the military, and I've been a prosecutor for most of my career. One of the unique things about me too is that you'll notice I'm the only one that doesn't have the R next to my name. It's purposeful. I decided not to bring in the national divisive politics into this position. It's the position. I'm not the one who decided that we have to declare a party, but I've decided that I'm declaring as an independent so that I don't bring in that divisive politics to crowd out the message I'm trying to convey to you.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman.